The diner was quiet that afternoon, except for the gentle hum of an old jukebox and the hiss of coffee being poured behind the counter. The smell of burnt toast and cheap perfume lingered in the air. Outside, the sun glared through dusty blinds, casting narrow strips of light across the faded checkered floor. Inside, life was slow until a loud burst of laughter shattered the calm. At that booth by the window sat 3 rich college boys, each one wrapped in designer brands, their laughter echoing louder than the clinking of silverware. They didn't belong here, not in this small-town diner where people came for a $4 breakfast and warmth that money couldn't buy. But they were here for one reason only, to film content for their channel, the kind that got clicks, views, and attention. The waitress, Martha, had been working in that diner for nearly 30 years. Her white uniform was faded, her hands slightly trembling from age, and the apron she wore had long stains of coffee that wouldn't wash away. She had seen all kinds of people, truckers, families, lonely souls passing through, but never had she seen such arrogance wrapped in youth. As she approached their table with her coffee pot, the boy in the red Supreme shirt lifted his phone, smirking. "Hey guys, check this out," he whispered into his camera. His friends snickered, waiting for the show. Martha smiled kindly. "Would you like a refill, boys?" she asked, her voice soft, polite, the same way she'd spoken for decades. Without warning, the boy leaned back and spat directly on her apron. A dark stain spread across the white fabric. The coffee pot slipped slightly from her hand, clinking against the table. The boys burst into laughter, the sound sharp and cruel. The one filming shouted, "Look at her face! Oh my God, she's about to cry! This is gold, man!" For a moment, everything froze. The laughter, the shaking hands, the stunned silence that followed. The old woman looked down, blinking back tears that burned her eyes. She didn't yell, didn't curse, didn't even raise her hand. She just whispered softly, "I'll get a napkin for that," and turned away. But what the boys didn't know was that they weren't alone. In the corner of the diner, a group of bikers had been quietly eating their breakfast. Men and women clad in leather, arms covered in tattoos, the kind of people who looked like trouble but had their own kind of code, respect, loyalty, and justice. The leader, a tall man with a beard and piercing eyes, had seen everything. His name was Bear, and Bear didn't tolerate cruelty, especially not towards someone who had spent her life serving others. If you believe in kindness, respect, and second chances, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us spread stories that touch hearts and open eyes. When Martha walked toward the kitchen, the coffee still dripping from her apron, Bear stood up slowly. The air in the diner changed, heavy, tense. The laughter at the booth began to fade as the sound of boots echoed closer. One of the boys noticed the reflection of the approaching bikers in his phone camera and turned, uneasy. Bear stopped by their table, towering over them, his eyes calm but burning with quiet rage. "You think that's funny?" he asked, his voice low and steady. The boys froze. The one in the grey hoodie chuckled nervously. "Hey man, we were just joking around, you know. It's for TikTok." Bear leaned in, his shadow falling across their faces. "You think humiliating an old lady is content?" he said, his words sharp. "You think views make you a man?" The boy in the Supreme shirt swallowed hard, his arrogance slipping away. "It was just a prank," he muttered. Bear's jaw tightened. "Then let's see how funny your prank is when you clean up your mess." He turned to Martha, who stood by the counter, her hands shaking as she wiped her apron. "Ma'am," he said gently, "would you mind if I borrowed these young men for a minute?" Martha blinked, uncertain. "Just don't hurt them, please," she whispered. Bear nodded. "Don't worry, ma'am, we don't hurt people, we teach them." What followed wasn't violence, it was something much deeper. Bear didn't raise his fists, he raised truth. He made the boys stand up and look Martha in the eyes. "You see that woman?" Bear said. "She's been working harder in one day than you have in your whole lives. She's here before sunrise, leaves after dark. You think your daddy's money makes you better than her? Let me tell you something. You'll never earn what she has in her heart." The diner was silent. Even the jukebox seemed to stop humming. Bear motioned toward the coffee pot on the counter. "You like spilling things? Then you're going to learn to serve them." He told the boys to grab aprons. At first they refused, their faces pale, but one look from the bikers and they obeyed. For the next hour, the three rich teens served coffee, cleared tables, wiped spills, and took orders, under Martha's quiet supervision. Martha, kind as ever, didn't scold them, she just guided them gently. "That's too much sugar, dear. Try again." Her voice never rose. Her patience, even after what they'd done, made the boys feel something they hadn't felt in a long time. Shame. By the end of the hour, their designer shirts were stained with coffee and ketchup. Their laughter was gone, replaced by silence and red eyes. When the last table was cleaned, Bear placed a 20 on the counter. "For the coffee," he said softly to Martha. Then he turned to the boys. "Now apologize." The boy in the Supreme shirt looked down, tears pooling in his eyes. I'm sorry, ma'am," he stammered. "I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't funny." Martha nodded gently, her eyes soft but tired. "I forgive you," she said, "but promise me something. Don't ever make someone feel small just to make yourself feel big. It'll never make you happy." Her words hit harder than any. Punch could. When the bikers left, the boys sat quietly at their booth, staring at their reflection in the window. For the first time, they didn't see content creators. They saw cowards, and they hated what they saw. The next morning, something unexpected happened. The boy in the Supreme shirt, his name was Ethan, returned to the diner alone. He carried flowers in one hand and a small envelope in the other. Martha was cleaning tables when he walked in. Her eyes widened slightly, but she didn't speak. "I came to say thank you," Ethan said softly. "And sorry, again, I was stupid. I didn't see people, I just saw likes." He placed the envelope on the counter. Inside was a check for $5,000, money he'd earned from sponsorships, the kind of money that once meant nothing to him. "It's not to buy forgiveness," he said quickly. "It's to fix the coffee machine and maybe help with the diner." Martha smiled, tears shining in her tired eyes. "You're a good boy," she whispered. "You just forgot for a while." Bear was sitting in his usual corner again, watching quietly. When Ethan walked over, Bear stood up. "Didn't expect to see you again," he said, a small smile breaking through his beard. Ethan shrugged. "Didn't expect to come back." Bear nodded approvingly. "Good. The world needs fewer kings of the internet and more men with hearts." Weeks passed. Ethan began volunteering at the diner on weekends. His friends thought he was crazy at first, but slowly they joined him. What started as punishment became purpose. They stopped filming cruel pranks and began making videos about kindness, serving meals to the homeless, helping strangers, telling real stories of real people like Martha. Their channel grew faster than ever, but this time for the right reasons. Ethan's favorite video was titled, "The Waitress Who Changed Our Lives." It showed Martha smiling, pouring coffee for customers, her old stained apron replaced by a new one Ethan had bought her. The comments section flooded with love. People from all over the world saying how her story made them cry, how it reminded them of their own mothers, grandmothers, and forgotten kindness. And one quiet evening, as the diner lights glowed soft gold and the bikers filled their usual booth, Martha whispered to Bear, "You saved those boys." Bear shook his head. "No, ma'am, you did. You showed them grace." Martha smiled faintly. "Grace," she repeated. "That's what we're all looking for, isn't it?" Bear nodded. "That's what makes us human." Months later, the diner hung a framed photo by the counter, Ethan and his friends standing beside Martha and the bikers smiling together. Above it, a small plaque read, "Respect is free. Kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything." People who came to eat would stop and stare at the photo, curious about the story behind it. And sometimes, when Martha poured their coffee, she'd smile and say, "It's just a reminder. Someone's always watching. So be kind." If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs a reminder about kindness, and subscribe for more real-life stories that restore faith in humanity. Before you go, comment below, what would you have done if you saw someone being treated like Martha? Your words might inspire someone to choose compassion over cruelty tomorrow. Kindness doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful in ways arrogance never can. because the truest strength lies not in how loud you can laugh at others, but in how deeply you can feel for them.